always, we start our free spirit talks laughing. Hey guys, welcome to our return of free spirit talks. Crazy and me over here have had a busy last few months, and so we wanted to jump back into free spirit talks. So I am gonna actually do some sharing and stuff if you want to laugh, continue to laugh. That's cool.
Continue to laugh. I'm laughing because I'm sitting here and I needed a little remote to push the on button, so I was going like this, and Addison's looking at me like I'm crazy because I'm like just pushing air.
Yes. And so you're like, hey Robin,
Push the button.
push the button.
Push the button. Yep.
Okay, hold on. Let me share, get some more people on here. Today's topic is, what's it gonna cost me? And obviously, Kendall's gonna have the giggles through our entire show today.
You should drink spinach too. If you drink spinach, then you're gonna be more like Popeye and you'll have giggle muscles.
All right.
And
Anyway.
and pineapple and oranges. Well, it's good. I offer.
It looks good. It looks yummy.
People love your, like laughter. You gotta be goofy. Yeah. What's it gonna cost you, Addison? Just laugh.
I am sharing, and then I
little
can laugh.
embarrassment is what it's gonna cost her. It's gonna cost her some embarrassment right now.
All right, now that we're shared all over the place. So yeah, our topic is what's going to cost me, and I think we chose this one because I know for me, I've seen over the last few months, like just looking around and going like, okay, if I make this decision, what is that going to cost me? And if I make this decision, what's that going to cost me? Because the truth is, whatever we choose in our life, there is a cost to it.
What?
Yes.
But you're supposed to give it all for free. It's
No.
just supposed to come to you.
There is
You're
no
just
such
supposed
thing
to just
as, there is no,
be.
okay, let me explain something. There's something called freedom, but there's no such thing as being free. Being free. Or getting something for free. It's going to cost you something in your life, and that's the truth.
Well, that's shit.
I'm sorry, but it is.
Oops, one. I said shit.
You did.
That beep. Whatever. You're supposed to do that.
It's fine. But you can be like free, as in like free spirit. Like you can live your life feeling very free, but nothing in our lives comes for free. And when I say nothing comes for free, it can feel very freeing. It can feel free, but you are exchanging whatever you're doing, whatever your goals are, whatever is happening, that or whatever relationship, for something else.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, in all seriousness, with no goofiness on this, I can do it, really.
No, you can't. It's okay, that's why we love you.
No, in all seriousness, and I think
your
like when we were talking about this topic, we've had both experienced lots of change. This has been like a transformational year for both of us in so many different ways, and it's just like the changes just keep coming. And with that, it's the constant looking at what's it going to cost. What's, like this decision, if I speak up here, if I share here, if I hold back. And I mean, that's really what it all comes down to, right? Because every single action decision that we make, it's about us vocalizing or not vocalizing our needs, our desires. And what gets us caught in things is the cost. I mean, I've been writing a lot of articles on this topic in one way or another, and I've been working with, a lot more small business owners and focusing in on prosperity and on purpose and really just living that freedom-based life. And when you look at that, a lot of the times what I keep seeing with people, and even with myself, is, well, I'm pushing up against this. This is what I really, really want. But what's it going to cost me in the essence of, how are my friends going to treat me if I actually go make this happen? How is my family going to treat me? Are they going to look at me differently? Are they going to want more from me? Are they going to all of a sudden outcast me in some way by me going and doing and being or having different things? and you break it down to even relationships and everything, whether it's a friendship or an intimate relationship. Again, you know, write down
what is that going to
cost?
What's it going to cost? Because there's huge costs in relationship.
Right. How much compromise are you willing to give, or the things are you willing to do in order to maintain, have a relationship? And then is it worth it? I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, you have to look at, is the cost worth it for whatever that is? Relationship, striving for a goal, you know, asking for personal space or personal time.
Yep.
There's always
or simply just verbalizing. Simply just verbalizing something there's a cost to that. There is a cost to that. Or not, like you were saying, like not verbalizing. There's a cost to that, because the fact is you are exchanging that for potentially your comfort, or for potentially moving forward. So you're right, there always is a cost. And I think I also have seen this a lot in relationships and also my business as well. I remember when I first, and I mean, it's not like it's changed, because the truth is, the more my business grows, the more my dreams and goals are growing and changing and expanding. So, like, for example, I'm really not moving completely out of the sex and relationships, but I'm integrating other things in. Well, guess what? There's a cost to that. The fact is, I have a lot of clients that are going, I really just want to learn the 1, 2, 3s of this or that, and that costs me clients. But the flip side of that is, if I chose not to move in the direction of what I'm feeling called to, then I'm costing myself time and my kind of soul calling. Yeah. I'm blocking I'm not being me. So there is kind of a cost going, very like masculine energy focus. There's a cost benefits analysis in anything, and also even in our relationships. The fact is, if you choose to stick something out and work something through, there's a cost there, because the fact is, like, you are putting out energy and heart and time, and you need to look at, well, is this worth it? Is it going to benefit me? Do I want it? So I think yeah, there's always a cost, and you're right, Kendall, about how it's looking at, is it worth it? Is the cost you're putting out worth kind of what you're getting?
So how do you tell if the cost is worth it?
I don't know. Can I tell them?
I mean, that's a legitimate question, right? How do you make that decision? Because what do? We end up living a life where we're consistently paying a price that we don't have to pay, probably, or we feel that we need to pay because we don't feel worthy of asking for what we want. So we think, oh, I have to pay the price. I have to earn this in some way. This was topic over Thanksgiving in my house, was just, you know, about earning things and really paying that price, and making almost like the things when we suffer, when we struggle, that is really that has to happen in order for you to have joy or have the things that you want in life. You know, like the more struggle you have, the better story you have to have a successful picture. And
we need a horrible mouths. This is our issue with staying.
But it's
both.
It's like when you look at it, often what I know I have been guilty of in the past, and I still am in many ways, is that, you know, it's that I think that I need to do something in order to achieve this, or often that is I need to hold back. I need to put my foot on the brake. I mean, my personality is, I'll put the foot on the brake because you're too go, whatever. You're too yes, you're too this, you're too that, whatever it might be. And that right there, that cost, much like you said, it's that whole, you know, that soul calling, that soul alignment. And if you're in soul alignment, then you're just pushing forward and you're just going. And when you really get clear with soul alignment, it's like all of a sudden, all this little stuff, it really is all little stuff, right? It's all that little stuff. It just kind of, you start to go, well, that's not worth it. It's not worth it to say yes when I'm actually a no, or no just because I don't want to be too much when I'm actually a yes. Oh, I avoided the word.
Yes. Yes, you did.
Yes, I PG'd myself.
You PG'd.
Yay!
Yay! Good job.
I PG'd myself. I PG'd myself. I know, that's hard. Okay. See, there's a cost to pay right there.
Because you're going to get off this and you're going to say that word and you're going to be like,
that's it. I'm going to go do a 3-minute video just to clear it out of my system.
yes.
That's right. But no, I mean, a lot of the times what I see with people is that we are willing to pay the price to stay uncomfortable in the essence of feeling like it's comfortable. So we're so comfortable with our uncomfort of just living in this zone of never saying yes to ourselves. Mm-hmm. And when we say yes to ourselves, then we venture into this land of like, oh, that's going to cost too much to say yes to myself. I can't say yes to myself. No. What are we really doing in that? And I think, to me, the whole, the original question that I asked, right, is how do we know? How do we know what if the price is worth it or not? And I come back to, does it feel in alignment to your soul? Is it an F yes to
there you go.
an F yes to your soul, to really truly what you feel aligned to your desire and your heart's desire. And we're talking heart's desire here, not a desire like a lustfulness towards something. It's completely different.
Looking forward.
Right, yes, that really, that calling, that yearning to go towards something that just is going to ignite your soul.
For me, I think I agree with everything you actually just said. I very wholeheartedly agree. I think for me also, it brings up the question of what's it going to cost in the short term versus what's it going to cost in the long term? Because, so I was, right before we jumped on, I was telling you about the other night, I really wanted to go to bed. I was freaking exhausted. I was I'm really tired. And so, yes, there was a cost of having to stay up and having to kind of just, kind of focus in and do what I needed to do that evening. And so in that short amount of time, yes, it cost me something. It cost me my sleep. I was exhausted, but I also had the passion, the drive of I want to get this done. It wasn't I want to get this done. I had passion behind it. And so I could have chosen to go to sleep that night, but I didn't. I was no, I'm going to focus in. Now, in the long term, continual nights like that of going, no, I'm going to go to sleep instead of do what I have to do. No, I'm going to be comfortable instead of doing what I have to do. That is really my desire in this moment. In the long term, that's going to cost me potentially my business, potentially my heart. Now, at the same time, it is looking at okay, same thing with the relationships. It's okay, the cost is right now I'm going to have to deal with this kind of maybe potential struggle of okay, it's not going to be potentially easy for the next, however long. But in the long term, is it going to be beneficial? Is it going to cost? Is the cost worth it? Like you were saying, is the cost worth it to put effort into, say, a relationship or something? And then, yeah, it's looking at long-term goals versus short-term goals, which our short-term goals a lot of times are more ego-based, my short-term goal is I want to be comfortable. My long-term goal is, no, I don't want to be comfortable. I want to be pushing. I
want to be growing, which means being uncomfortable. But yeah, I mean, I think if you just look at the short term, then you're always going to choose the lazier route. You are.
Yes.
I mean, that's just where, motivation, what's that? Nobody has it.
No.
That just doesn't even exist in my opinion. You have to get up off your
such thing as motivation.
And just go and push yourself through it, because that's the only way you're going to ever make it. But it is, when you look at that big picture, and that's truly even with soul alignment, the day-to-day stuff. I mean, both you and I working for ourselves, being in business for ourselves, there is nobody that's dictating to us, go do this. I mean, unless I email her stuff that keeps her up till 3 o'clock in the morning, hey Addison, can you do this? After
she's been up to 3 o'clock in the morning creating it.
Yes.
I was choice. I took on that call.
Thank you. It all looks great.
Yours was done at 12:30. I said, oh, yeah.
I'm not guilty for the 3 o'clock.
No, you're guilty for 12:30.
Okay. No, but when we are in soul alignment, it helps you to move through that short-term laziness a heck of a lot easier, because the reason why you stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning, the reason I stayed up the night before till 3:30 in the morning, right? I had to force myself to go to bed the night before because I was just totally ignited. I was turned on to the stuff, and it was just flowing out of me. And it were other days I have to, it's like, oh gosh, I really need to get this done. I really need to get that done. And I look at my list and it seems to be 1,000, items long, even though it's only like 10 items long or something, but it feels so massive to me. I just don't have the motivation to do that because that short-term desire of, I just don't feel like it. I just, like that. And then my soul comes along and goes,
you're gonna do this.
No, you're gonna
do this.
What are the top 3 to 5 things that you need to get done? Because at least go pay the price for those right there. It is worth it. This is your business. This is your life. This is, dealing with your family, your passion, your everything that you have going on. And when you really throw yourself into that, then the cost really is microscopic.
Yeah.
It is. It's a microscopic cost to stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning, or to, just kind of bust it out and go, no, for the next 4 hours, I'm not going to get sidetracked. I'm going to just
focus in,
do this.
Yeah. I think also, though, there are sometimes where the cost actually is too much. I think there are a lot of times in our lives when we pay a cost that really is too much. And that is disconnecting us from ourselves. It is getting us further and further away from our spirit and our soul alignment, like you've been talking about. I think there really is times when it's too much and we are giving too much of ourselves.
And often I think that happens more so in relationship, and everything is a relationship, but in our intimate relationships and our friendships, and even our relationships with family, with our children, our parents, our siblings. And then there are the work relationships, because there's a lot of times that we will give so much of ourselves that in a work scenario that, we're building something for somebody else and not for ourselves. So there is no end to it. There is no bigger reward out there for us in general. It goes out to everybody else. So then when it just eats away at our life, which a relationship, intimate friendship, family can definitely eat away at our lives as well. And that's, I think, what you're saying there is like that too big of a cost is, does it actually kill you? Like, is it killing you? Because if it's killing you, then all of a sudden your physical body starts to have issues. Your mental, emotional body starts to have issues. You're horribly fatigued. You're scattered, and your world just kind of just falls apart on you. And that right there, and you just have no energy, no drive, and it's like, next thing you know, you're drinking too much and you're watching too much Netflix or something. And
I think this is when actually this is when I really have to watch in my own personal relationship, is the relationships cost element, because I think that is an easy one to fall into, is not looking at what a relationship potentially is costing you. And if you really want, I think you need to, and I wrote an article not too long ago about this, of is it worth it? In the long run, is it worth it? Because I think we also run into the other problem of I'm just not willing to put any work into it. I'm going to step away. I'm not willing to put any time and energy into something, especially when we come into relationships. There is the kind of get out of jail free of I'm just not willing. I'm just not going to do the work. And even if it really is soul aligned, and then there is, like I was saying, that you're potentially working too hard. And so it is looking at that kind of both and going, is it worth it to me? What am I benefiting? Going, again, very masculine, very goal, what am I benefiting? How is this benefiting me? What is the kind of goal in the long term? How does it make me feel? How does it make me feel? And that is a hard one, I think, because sometimes our relationships don't make us feel very good in the moment. But looking at like really dropping into core and even like doing some true soul searching of like, how does this relationship in its entirety make me feel? So I think there's those. I know for myself it's easier with like work and things like that to go like, okay, this is the cost, this is the benefit of this. I think when we get into relationships, it can get a little muddier. So
it does. It gets muddier, and I think that because we're dealing with somebody else's heart and emotions, so I think for the majority of us, we try to look at it from both sides, and that's where that muddiness comes in, because we're trying to make it fair for, it's the Librian complex, right? We're trying to do what's right for both. and in that's where we tend to pay too much in the price of things. I mean, one of the things that I've learned is really just looking at like, okay, this is an article I need to write. It keeps coming up, so I need to write this probably later today. Maybe I'll be up till 3:30 writing this article. But I have 2 articles on relationship that kind of came up for me while I was in Jamaica, go figure. And one of them is really based on like, I tend to look at relationship, especially intimate relationship. I look at my intimate relationship a little, probably not normal, because as much as I want the depth and I want the this and I want the that, I think that I can have that. And I also know that it's fleeting and that it's okay that it's fleeting. So I am, as much as it pains me, it also excites me, because I know this relationship is here for this moment, whatever that moment might be. And I really am at peace with that in so many ways, even though it sometimes really hurts. But there's that I'll look in the relationship, and what I will quickly notice is it love or is it need-based? And I think that when we get into a straight-up need-based relationship, where it's just, I need this, you know, and as soon as you stop providing my need to me, or you state your truth, which would probably not providing my need to me anymore, then there's that retraction, that separation that happens in that. And if you give yourself to that kind of relationship overboard, and you know, you kind of step off, that's definitely like, that's going to just, that's too big of a price, because now you're completely changing who you are. And I think that in truth, we both deal a lot with relationships with people. So I know that you see this with your clients, but I see this with my clients a lot. And what I see is that on the front side is 2 people getting together that are wounded, that are hurt, that are this or that. So they're matching each other here. And then one will do some work and start to heal, and the other will just maybe a little bit of work, but will kind of just cover everything up, mask it in some way. So it appears that they're okay, but they're really not. And then they come in this heated fashion, and they're connective and they're playful and they're this and they're that. And then it all changes. And the one who's growing is going, come on, I don't understand. You were with me here. What was this? And then the other one's like, oh, I never really wanted that. Like, that's not really me. That's not it. Yeah. You got the one partner who's going, what? Because it is more of that relationship need versus love, where when we're operating more in that love, it's the dynamic of 2 people coming together that, yeah, sure, there's some crap there, but it's not, I can take you wherever you're at. Yes. With whatever's going on. I'm going to support you through that. I can hold that space for you.
Pulling in that unconditional love.
Right. I don't need you to have any of this.
I need you to just be you. Right. That is your need. Yeah. I just need you to be authentically you.
Be truthful. Be you.
Yeah. I think you're right, and I know that it is a hard kind of jungle to kind of push through. So that is really where you do need to check in with self and check in with spirit, because it is muddy in the relational aspect. But I think even just in anything, you really need to be looking at kind of what the cost is. I know that you've mentioned you have like tons of children, and like there is a cost. Because I watch it. Like there's a cost of like, okay, I'm going to focus in here. Well, that means that yes, you're not focusing in here, here, and here, but there would also be a cost if you just focused in over. If you didn't do what you needed to do over here, there would be a cost to to over here with your kids and your family and all of that. So it is.
It's finding that harmony.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to use the B word. The harmony.
It's okay. Today I'm launching a course that has that word.
I know. I was helping. I remember like seeing that, and I was like, did she really use the balance
I
word?
did. I used the word balance.
I almost like wanted to change it.
She'll never
know. I was typing something up for her, and I was like, she used the B word. What do we do with the B word? No.
Use it.
But it is about finding that balance.
It is that balance in this category. Balance is definitely there, and it's finding that balance in life, in relationship, and in what the cost is. Truly.
Yeah. And are you willing? Here's the other thing. Like, you might know that there's a cost, and you need to ask yourself, like, are you willing to pay it? Because you might go like, yes, I know there is a cost, but are you willing to really step in and pay that cost? And if you're not willing to really throw yourself completely in, then you're really not willing to pay it. That's in relationship and work and in life in general. So if you're not, and let's take the business since we've been harping on relationships, if you're like, yes, I know that there's a cost, that I'm not going to get to watch Netflix for the next week and binge watch. Well, are you really willing to pay it? Right. Are you willing to pay that cost?
I'm not going to go and watch the football game on Monday night for the next 2 months, or I'm not going to go out and go to this event or that event Friday night or Saturday night. I'm going to allow myself one night a month or 2 nights a month versus going out 3 times a week. I'm not, a lot of the times I'm not going to sit on Facebook and surf for 2 hours every single day, or check my email 15 times a day and surf through it, or do whatever we do.
I'm not going to be on demand for my clients every time they message me.
I see a lot of people that lose a lot of time because they're not willing. It seems like such a big price to pay to commit to a schedule. Mm-hmm. And everybody looks at me and says, well, how do you do it? You've got 7 kids, and you've got, guys in your life, and you're building a business, and you got this many clients, and you got your mom, and you have all this different stuff. Well, how do you do it? Mm-hmm. And anybody who sees my schedule, I am scheduled, but at the same time, there is flexibility within my schedule. So, but I do have, I will move stuff up, and I know that because we do share schedules, and it is one of those things that I know that you see things moving on my schedule. Yeah. Like, I didn't get my article written today, so you're going to see it pop into my afternoon. If I don't get it done in my afternoon, it's going to pop into my evening. So as soon as I'm done being mom, cooking dinner, doing the things that I need to do in that front, and my house calms down again, then I'm there and I'm like, okay, I've got to get this article out before midnight. And that's a commitment to myself that I'm going to get an article out every day that I possibly can. And just like doing video and different things like that, you got to commit to those things. And in the big scheme of things, I'm like, a 4-hour work day is not a bad work day, especially when you kind of go all over the place with it, right? Yeah. And you're out and you're with your
you're loving
with your friends, you're with your lover, you got your downtime, your exercise, your whatever you're doing, and the way you fit it in is to schedule it and make it a priority, even if you need to move your schedule around to commit to that time frame there, to that price paying. So it doesn't much matter when you pay the price in that aspect. It's just getting it done.
But I don't think a lot of people are willing to pay the price, and that's the truth. I think a lot of us are not willing to pay the price for our true desires.
No, because we're too comfortable.
Yeah, because if we get really honest, like, comfort is comfortable. It feels good. It feels good in the moment. Yeah. In the moment, it feels good in the moment. Yeah. And stepping out of our comfort zones. I mean, it's not comfortable it doesn't feel good for anybody to be like, yes, I'm gonna really yes, you might be on that but when you're there, when you're doing it, when it's working, when it's happening, then it starts to feel good. Mm-hmm. But in the interim of like forcing yourself to turn off the TV and do what you've got to do, no, that doesn't feel good in the moment. But that is really where.
No, because I mean, in business, since we're on the business thing, let's run with that. Or even with a relationship. Yeah. But in business, there is, business and relationship, there's things that you've got to do that you don't really have the creative energy for. And so in business, it's like, what do you do for marketing? What do you do for connecting with clients or getting yourself out there, right? Doing the background work, that kind of stuff that you may not just you don't have that muscle built for, or some days your muscles are just weak and you don't have the energy for it. And in relationship, it's what? The creative energy to create a date night, to create space, connection, to just shut up and listen to your partner and say, how was your day? And just be able to hold that space for them. That kind of stuff right there. I mean, it's like, oh, I don't have time. Now
or just even the ego, or taking the time and energy, really, because there's the cost and energy of like stepping potentially out of your ego. And I know you mentioned the looking at both sides, where sometimes we get caught, but sometimes that's exactly what we need to be doing, and stepping out of our ego, and there's a cost in that.
Oh yeah. Yes. And then
our
it comes down to
that.
Ultimately, what do you want, right? At the end of the day, your true desires are always going to come out through your, you can say all day long, oh, I really want to have this connected, intimate, passionate relationship. I want to have this, I want to do that, blah, blah, blah. I want this turned on life. I want this turned on partner. I want to be turned on. But then if your partner, and I'm going to use a statement that a partner said to me a few years ago when I came in and I said, I want 30 minutes a week. Just 30 minutes, don't laugh. 30 minutes a week.
I know too much.
For us just to have connection time. You get 15 minutes, I get 15 minutes. Let's just hold space for each other for 30 minutes a week. And I will never forget this moment because I was shocked. And he looks at me and goes, we don't have time for that. I'm like, 30 minutes? We don't have time for 30
too
minutes.
Big of a cost.
For 30 minutes.
For him.
And in that moment, it was like, the neon lights went on, and I went, oh, okay. Okay, because that's like that. If you don't have 30 minutes to dedicate to your relationship, but then you're saying that you really desire a connected, deep relationship, then guess what? You really don't desire it. Your truth is that you really don't desire the relationship, because 30 minutes is not a big deal at all. And, I work with people who are small business owners all the time, entrepreneurs, and then I tell them, business. I really want this. I really want to make $250,000 a year. I really want that. This is what I want. This is what I want. And I'm like, so you need to script the first 4 hours of your day, and 2 hours of that 4 hours needs to be mindset work. And the other 2 hours you need to like, boom, 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 crank it out. Here you go. Here's an agenda. Just copy mine. And, if you do this 5 days a week, well,
you'll be golden.
Everything's going to be groovy. It's all going to be fine. And then they go, oh, but I can't get, that's too rigid for me, and that's too this, and I don't know if I can I don't know what to do with that, or what to write here, or what to, how to show up here, or what is that? And then, but then I see them on Facebook, every time I flip, because my Facebook's always open, but I'm not on it. But I'll pop things over, I'll go searching for something, or do marketing or whatever, and every time I'm on there, their little light's green.
Yeah.
Right? On the chat. Their little light's always green. I'm like, oh, and then they're posting stuff. It's just random shit coming up. Ooh, random stuff coming up.
We'll just put disclaimer.
Random stuff coming up where it's like just, the constant shares of everybody else. And when we're sharing everybody else's stuff on Facebook, guess what that's saying?
They're more important.
Facebook, wall is more important to me than building my business, than focusing in on my relationship, than focusing in on my health. Yeah, the person who says, I have all these health issues, I really have this going on, I really have that going on, but I can't stop eating at Taco Bell. I can't exercise. Really? Well, if you really want to lose the weight, if you really want to have the toned body, if you really want to have the wellness,
you'll step in.
Then you need to step into it. It might not be as big as what you're going to do in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now, but at some point you have to commit to it. So it's like, and that price, it's funny, because as you, and I'm sure that you've noticed this, that as you say, okay, I'm going to step into this price, and it feels so big, but it's actually a really small price, like with exercise, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going to take a 20-minute walk every single day. Let's just say that, okay? So a 20-minute walk every single day. And that's not a big deal. It's 20 minutes. It's good for your body. You're outside. Maybe you're walking on the treadmill or whatever. It doesn't matter, but you're spending 20 minutes. And you can multitask. You could listen to an audiobook. You could listen to something, that's just going to be good for your mind too. So you could do that. You can even do a phone call for 20 minutes and walk.
Yes.
Crap, I walk around the block doing coaching calls all the time. Like, there you go. So you can do that, but that price feels like it's a really big price, even though we know that it's a little price, right?
20 minutes.
Right. Well, in a year from now, if you keep doing 20 minutes a day, in a year from now, you'll be walking 40 minutes plus going to the gym or going to yoga or something, and you'll be spending 2 hours of your day, and you'll start like thriving and striving for it, craving it,
Yes.
and it won't seem like a big price at all. It'll seem like a really itty-bitty price. The bigger price will be not doing it. And if you look at it, it's like, it's literally, it flips completely to the other side. So I guess the point there is that if it's really worth it and you just put your head down and you just go pay that small price, that small price will grow in one aspect because it will become more, but it will shrink because the value of what you're getting is so much greater than what you are actually giving.
Yeah. I actually, kind of going off that point a little bit, is that today, actually at 2 o'clock, my article will get posted, and I actually wrote an article, and it's because I wrote one the other day saying, like, you can't handle a goddess. And so I did the flip side of you can't handle the divine masculine. And it is all stepping, and as I was writing it, I hear all the time how people, they want this deep, connected, like this expansive, like, I mean, like, I'm not going to use the O word, this soul opening experience in their sex, their relationships, in finding their depth. But the fact is, like, their actions show me that it's not really their desire because they're scared of it. It's like, because there is also a price.
My article that I posted right before this about
I haven't read it yet.
So my article is all about right there. It's like, I want this, but I'm scared to death of that.
Yes, because we pay prices not just by our time and our physical energy, but also we pay prices with our emotional kind of energy too. It is like looking at, like, okay, well, I'm going to have to look at my stuff. PG. I'm going to have to look at my stuff here. I'm going to have to get emotionally uncomfortable or feel stuff that I don't want to feel. And so when looking at your cost, also look at the emotional aspect of things of like, is it worth the cost to you for that relationship, for that business, for whatever, to step in and really feel you and really, really dive into all that, for lack of a better word, like shadow ego self.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is it worth the cost? What do I have to pay? What do I have to pay to have the life that I want? What do I have to pay to have the relationship that I want, to have the cash flow that I want, to have the body, the health that I want, to have the family that I want, to have anything, right?
And it's always going to cost you something.
Yeah.
It's always, if you think that you're going to get something without there being a cost, then it's not going to happen.
Not going to happen. And most of that cost, in truth, the majority of the pain of the cost is all up here. It really is. It's all just a mirage of the ego that, that just wants to sabotage us. That is where self-sabotage comes from, is in the fear of paying the price, and that price being too much, when in fact, quite often, if we are in alignment, it is not too much. It's not too much. It's actually just a bitty little thing.
And the cost of not being in alignment, potentially, though, could be the unlived life.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. The cost normally is, if you don't do it, the cost always is what you proclaim you want. Because much like your statement on the love piece, and as you were talking, I was thinking about, like, how did I end that article? I ended it with, no, I'm leaning in, right? I'm leaning in. I want all this.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
Cost is worth it.
I'm willing to shine the light on that. I'm willing to realize that, that fear of the pain, of the potential of everything that could go bad is worth it at the end of the day, and that the love is actually worth that. And what am I running from? I'm running from the love. I'm running from the fear of the love and the fear of the loss of the love. So I just need to make my mind up and lean in. But it's the same thing with money, with business, with raising your kids, with anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't. So. Okay.
Yay! I feel complete. Yay for our first Free Spirit Talks back.
Yes. I know. I got to start Conscious Coffee too.
Yes,
start
you
Conscious
do.
Coffee on Saturday.
Saturday?
I know. It's the first. I have to start Conscious Coffee on Saturday. I'm doing it
Saturday.
Saturday.
At 6 a.m.
Trying it on. I have little munchkins that I'm going to have to figure out too. So, so Conscious Coffee is starting December 1st. I might start it in a Christmas hat if I can find my Christmas hat. Don't know where my Christmas hat's at.
I'm excited for Conscious Coffee to be back.
I'll have my coffee pot tell me.
Yes, your coffee pot talks. So, and she's got an awesome course coming out this next week. So
it's coming out today.
Oh, today.
It's coming out today.
Oops,
actually, I'm going to probably promote it through Free Spirit Talks, I think, just to get it out there a little bit and see how that goes. So yeah, and it is all on the yin-yang balance. Yeah. Yin-yang of work-life balance. So just a quick one-day boot camp for just getting your life in order and having it all. So yeah, what do you have coming out?
So I don't, it's not created yet. It'll be created in a few days. I'm still working on it.
She was working on
I'm brainstorming. I'm brainstorming. Though I'm going to be doing some daily videos this next month that are going to be a little bit more playful. So I'm going to kick myself under the bus and make right here on Free Spirit Talks that I am going to be doing these Christmas videos that are playful, and we're going to leave it at that.
Jingle bells, jingle bells,
yes.
jingle.
Yes, for the holiday season, you're going to get to see a little bit more of a playful Addison.
Oh, yay.
So,
are you going to wear a cute little costume?
Potentially. No. That's a no. That's a no. That's a F no. F no. No pigtails.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you all for joining us, and comment, like, share. We want to hear your thoughts and your opinions on this. If there's a topic that you want to hear, let us know. We want to talk about the things that are really going to impact you in your life. So,
are we back on every 2 weeks, or are we doing once a month? Every 2 weeks.
Okay. Every 2 weeks. So yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to check us out individually, www.addisonbell.net
and kendallwilliams.com.
Yes. All right. Bye, guys. See you soon.